All right, good evening. Let's begin. Due to the current limitations on gatherings, we're not able to have the general public attend our meeting tonight, but the public is invited to view the meeting in any one of the three places that you can do that. Suddenlink, Channel 10, the cityofclovis.org, and the meeting is also streamed on the city's Facebook page. The public is also encouraged to provide their comments and or questions by calling those in, and the number to do that at is 575-763-9200. And if you want to get those called in, when we reach that section in the agenda, we'll make sure that your comments or questions are put before the commission. Before beginning tonight, I wanted to mention that over the past month, we've had two retirees of the Clovis Police Department that have passed away, and we wanted to mention them tonight. Retired Sergeant Doug Miller, who served as a detective for many years and was also a magistrate judge. And then also Captain Leon Morris, also served as a detective for many, many years. This evening I'd like to honor them and honor their memory by observing a moment of silence, after which we'll go into our normal prayer and the pledge to our flag. So please join me in a moment of silence for Sergeant Doug Miller and Captain Leon Morris. Dear Lord, we thank you for this time that we have together. God, we pray your leadership and your guidance as we do the city's business tonight. God, we pray for the families of Doug Miller and Leon Morris and ask for your protection and your comfort for them. Lord, we ask for your protection over our city, for health and safety and prosperity. We pray that you would guide us to be wise stewards as we do the city's business tonight. I pray, in the name of Jesus, amen. Amen. Join me in the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendships among united cultures. Our meeting is called to order. Would the clerk please call roll?
Commissioner Levitt?
Here.
Commissioner Madrid?
Here.
Commissioner Casals?
Here.
Commissioner Elliott?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant?
Here.
Commissioner Garza? Commissioner Render?
Here.
Commissioner Rowley?
Here.
Mayor Morris?
Here. And we expect Commissioner Garza to call in. I believe he's having some problems getting in, but he will be joining our meeting as I understand it. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Commissioners, you've had a chance to look at the agenda. Do we have changes or rearrangements, removals?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Casals?
I would like to remove number 11.
Okay. We're removing item number 1 under agenda item 11. Thank you, Commissioner Casals. Are there others?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Actually, I think we needed to pull something out of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. Yes, if
Yeah.
we could remove item number 2 off the consent agenda and just make that item number 1 under new business.
Okay.
Okay, now I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the recommended changes.
Second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Bryant and a second by Commissioner Casals. Will you please vote?
I think it's roll call.
We have 7 votes in favor, and 1 no vote. The motion carries. Next item on the agenda, we have approval of minutes. First, we'll deal with the Thursday, May 21st commission meeting. Commissioners, if you've had a chance to review those minutes, or do we have any changes?
I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Casaus
Second.
and a second from Commissioner Lovett. Commissioners, will you please vote? We have 7 votes in favor. The motion carries. The next item under approval of minutes is our Tuesday, May 26th meeting, which was a special meeting of the commission. I assume you've also had a chance to review those minutes. Do you recommend any changes or corrections?
I move for approval.
We have a motion for approval from Commissioner Madrid
Second.
and a second from Commissioner Rowley. Commissioners, please vote. We have 7 votes in favor and 1 no vote. The motion carries. Next on the agenda is recognition of visitors. Again, we're not able to have the general public with us in person tonight. However, I imagine we do have citizens who have called in, and we'll hear from them when we reach agenda item number 9. So next, we'll look at proclamations, awards, and presentations. And we have one item of business there this evening, and it is presentation of proclamation proclaiming June 2020 as Water Conservation Month in the city of Clovis. Ms. Burrows, would you advise?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. I didn't know if, Mayor Pro Tem, if you'd like to speak to this as you are the Vice Chair of the Water Policy Advisory Committee, or?
I could just mention that June is Water Conservation Month in Clovis, and we ask all our community to conserve water, not only in their home, but also their business. I think everybody knows that water is our most valuable resource, and we have to do what we can to conserve our water. We will have information available at City Hall and also the library, and on how to conserve, and also some low-flow shower heads and things like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Ms. Burrows. I'll read the proclamation. Whereas water is a basic and essential need for every living creature, and the scarcity of water in the arid climate of the High Plains, together with the depletion of the Ogallala Aquifer, has made addressing water needs of our area a top priority. And whereas actions taken to address the need to provide a sustainable future water supply to our area homes and businesses include the Ute Pipeline Project, Water Reuse Project, Water Conservation Plan, and water education programs. And whereas during Water Conservation Month, the City of Clovis seeks to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation by providing information regarding ways to conserve water, water conservation plans and programs. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help make a difference when it comes to conserving water and promote a healthy economy and community by saving water. Now therefore I, Michael Morris, Mayor of the City of Clovis, on behalf of the City Commission, declare the month of June 2020 as Water Conservation Month in the City of Clovis, and call upon each citizen and business to help protect our precious resource by practicing water-saving measures and becoming more aware of the need to save water. Next item on the agenda is receipts of petitions and communications. First item I see there is CRSMA or CRISMA funding update. Ms. Burrows?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. I believe Ashley White should be on the line to just give you an update regarding the funding that the city had been helping Charisma with.
Wonderful, thank you. Ms. Ashley White, if you are on the line, please unmute and you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. We are currently doing grab-and-go meals out our side door because of COVID, and we have also added a temporary route to our home delivered. Over the last 6 months, we have paid $1,000 to our loan, leaving us a balance of $4,500. Like all businesses, we have suffered financially because of COVID. As soon as we are back to our normal donation amount, we can start our payments back up. But if we need to, we can do $100 a month for repaying our loan.
Okay, thank you, Ms. White. Do we have any questions or comments for Ms. White?
Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners, if there's no objections by the City Commission, I have no problem with allowing Charisma to hold off on making their payments right now on those loans. It's obviously, it was an interest-free loan. It's something that we put in place to help support Charisma. They've done a great job of repaying us, and like Ms. White said, there's only an outstanding balance of $4,500 right now. So I think that it is appropriate to allow them to not pay us while they're trying to recover, obviously, just like everybody else is trying to recover. Thank you, Mayor.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Howalt. Any comments or discussion on that, Commissioners?
Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Casals.
Yes, I agree with City Manager. They have been doing an outstanding job. I see the line with pickup on meals, so I think that would be an excellent idea.
Thank you, Commissioner. I agree. And thank you for joining the meeting, Ms. White, and for that update. And we are happy to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I've not been given a list of who we may have on the phone. Do we have other communications from the public?
I think Raymond was going to be on there.
We were expecting
Yes.
Raymond Mondragon. Raymond Mondragon, if you are on the line and ready to give your comments, please unmute and you can have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Commission, for allowing me to make a few remarks. And I also want to thank you, Mayor, and the City Commission for recognizing 2 of our police officers, 2 retired Clovis police detectives who passed away in the last 2 weeks. Detective Sergeant and former Magistrate Judge Doug Miller, who gave over 30 years of law enforcement service to this community, and retired Captain Leon Morris, who also gave over 30 years of service and who also served in the U.S. Marines. Both served honorably and were involved in many difficult criminal cases in our community. And thank you for honoring them in a moment of silence and prayer and thought to their families as well. Thank you for allowing me to make some remarks this evening, Mayor. And first of all, I wanted to thank you and each of our commissioners, for your leadership and your concern for our community. Thank you to all the city employees and administrative staff for keeping things moving in city government in this difficult time. Thank you to our police department, our first responders. They're always there to help our community. You know, we tend to focus on our needs and fears, but it's important to remember that everyone is struggling. Students have lost months of education, even those with the right technology. And thank you to our dedicated educators, our essential workers, some working at minimum wage. They worry every day they will be exposed to this virus. With the gradual reopening of our businesses, owners wonder how they will survive if customers do not come back. We want to get out of the house. We want to see our friends and have lunch together, hug our grandkids, talk to someone without those uncomfortable masks. And we will shed them, but not today. However, I will continue to wear my mask in public for you and for myself. Painted by frustration and anxiety, unemployment, isolation, extreme work environments, illness, death, and I pray for a spirit of peaceful protest. All this has created a sense of uncertainty for all, Many of us want to point the finger, but this is not a time to assign blame. What we need is understanding, a recognition that wearing the mask is not a sign of compliance or weakness, but an act of consideration for others. That embodying our social responsibilities is as important as protecting our constitutional rights. The First Amendment of the Bill of Rights clearly states that abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. We need to understand we are all worried. We're on edge, emotionally stretched thin. Perhaps we need even more than understanding. We need compassion, and we need to love each other. And while these are tough, difficult times, it is important to remember that now is the time for creative and aspirational thinking. We have seen society's problems in a new light, and now we have new goals for our future. We are home of champions and a community for families. We are resilient, we laugh and have fun, and we celebrate our differences and knock the dust off our boots and jeans and get back to work. And more importantly, we have a tradition of extended family and close communities in this city. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me those remarks. That's been on my mind. And as I said, thank you for your leadership, and thank you to the City Commission for your leadership as well. And may God bless each and every one of you, and may God bless the city of Clovis. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Mondragon. Thank you for calling in and sharing that with us this evening. Appreciate that. Also on the phone, I understand we have Diana Thompson. Oh, just a moment, sorry.
And Mayor, those various individuals that are on the phone are on there for various action items. There's several ladies there for the library board, which will be coming up shortly, and Sandy Chansey for the presentation for the Eastern Plains Council of Governments.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Burrows. So do we have anyone that we're going to take comments from right now? Okay. Okay. All right. We're gonna move on in our agenda and get to the rest of the folks on the phone when we reach that place in the agenda. Next is the consent agenda. This item is placed on the agenda so that the commission, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine agenda items that they wish to be approved or acknowledged by one motion. If any proposal does not meet with the approval of all commission members, or if a citizen so requests, that item will be heard when reached under the regular agenda. Now, commissioners, we took number 2 out, and we're going to address it under new business. So we have 3 agenda items, consent agenda items, and so I'll begin with what was 3, and I now have it as 2. And if you'll just change the following items, we will go over this. So the first consent agenda item that I'll read to you is number 2, request for approval of CARES Act funds for the Clovis Municipal Airport. Number 3, request for approval of budget loan from Fund 48, Workers' Compensation P&L, to the Fire Department for the purchase of brush truck and rescue truck. Item number 4 is request for approval to award RFP 20-0401-05, financial advisory services to RBC Capital Markets. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments about the consent agenda items?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to place the indicated items on consent by Commissioner Casals. The second came from Commissioner Render. Commissioners, will you please vote? By a vote of 7-0 and 1 no vote, the motion carries. Now, do we hear a motion to approve or acknowledge all of the items on consent agenda?
Make a motion that we approve.
We have
consent agenda.
a motion from Commissioner Lovett and a second from from Commissioner Madrid. Commissioners, will you please vote? By a vote of 7 in favor and 1 no vote, the motion carries. Thank you. We have removed the one item that we had to deal with under introduction of adoption of resolutions and ordinances, so we will move on. We also have nothing to deal with under unfinished business, so we are now at agenda item 13, new business, and the first item that we will deal with there is request for approval of adoption of resolution number 3023-2020 and agreement of City of Clovis approving participation in the programs of the Eastern Plains Council of Governments for fiscal year 2020-2021 and appointing a designated representative and alternate. Ms. Burrows.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. We have on the line with us this evening Sandy Chansey. She is the Executive Director for the Eastern Plains Council of Governments. This is their annual resolution that they bring to us, and you may recall just, I think at the last or the prior to that commission meeting, you appointed Commissioner Madrid as the representative from the Clovis City Commission to serve on the Eastern Plains Council of Governments, and indeed, I believe he is the chairman of the Eastern Plains Council of Governments, and then Commissioner Casaus as the alternate. And the amount of this, these annual dues to the COG is $9,152, and there is in front of you also an Exhibit A, which the city started last year to outline some services that we were seeking from the COG, assistance. Sandy Chansey is very experienced in community development block grant funding, and she's been helping us in preparing the application for the new senior center at Hillcrest Park. They also assist us with capital outlay requests and finding other grant funding and so forth. So I will pass it over to Ms. Chansey, if I may.
Thank you very much, Ms. Burrows.
Thank you.
Ms. Chansey, please unmute, and you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. I apologize. I cannot see on the screen the same thing you are seeing at the same time, so there's a bit of a time lag in the live feed. So I will just go through my presentation, and if we're in the wrong place, then the gentleman from IT and I can get the slides where they're supposed to be. As you can see, we are New Mexico Planning and Development District 4 for the state of New Mexico, serving the counties of Union, Harding, Quay, Guadalupe, DeBaca, Curry, and Roosevelt. The services we provide are economic development, transportation planning, project development assistance, strategic and comprehensive planning assistance, and policy, procedure, and assistance with special projects. Those special projects are varied. We get into some things sometimes that you wouldn't think a planning and development organization would do, such as job fairs and other special projects like that for communities. In our regional planning, we do a lot of planning with emphasis on water issues, as you are all familiar. We've served on the City of Clovis Water Assurance Plan Committee. We completed a source water protection plan for Curry and Roosevelt counties a few years ago. We served on the Region 1 Water Planning Committee with the New Mexico Environment Department and Interstate Stream Commission. That was a few years ago, and we're told they're gearing up to do that again, and we have agreed to help them with that process. We continue to be the administrative and fiscal agent for the Ute Water Commission, which the City of Clovis is a very active participant. We participate in the New Mexico First Energy Roadmap planning process, and we provide assistance with comprehensive plan development and other planning processes, such as the Metropolitan Redevelopment Area plan update that you're about to undertake. In economic development, we are your federally recognized economic development district. We're under contract with the U.S. Department of Economic Development Administration to facilitate regional economic development. One of the big things we're tasked with under that program is development of a comprehensive economic development strategy that is updated annually. We completely revamp the plan every 5 years. A new thing in that area is we will be receiving some supplemental funding from EDA through the CARES Act to assist with economic recovery due to the COVID-19 crisis. We're going to be developing a regional economic recovery plan. We will be hiring consultants to help us with that. We'll increase our outreach and services to our communities to assist in that. In rural areas, our economy is built on small business and agriculture. So those two industries have been hit very hard lately. So it's going to need to be a very robust plan. And of course, we continue to work with the New Mexico Economic Development Department and our local chambers and economic development organizations. The Economic Development Department will be applying for some of this funding from EDA to develop a statewide comprehensive economic development strategy and recovery plan. And they have asked the COGS to be active partners in that. And so we are planning to do that as well. Transportation planning, we're funded by New Mexico Department of Transportation to co-manage both the Northeast Regional Transportation Planning Organization and the Southeast. We do that because our district basically covers parts of two NMDOT districts, District 4 and District 2, and each district has their own RTPO. So we assist with project identification and preparation of the project feasibility forms. We facilitate rating and ranking of projects through those two organizations for inclusion in the statewide transportation improvement plan. And we provide assistance with functional classification of county and municipal roads. Your functional classification is very important because that leads to certain funding opportunities that you would not otherwise have if that road was not properly classified. So we try to monitor developments throughout our communities so that if there's major development going on in one area, we look at the classification of those roads to make sure the classification suits the actual use. And of course, we monitor planned and ongoing transportation projects. I know everybody complains about those orange barrels out on the highway, but those orange barrels are progress. We like orange barrels. Community development and technical assistance. As Claire stated, one of the big things that we do is assistance with the community development block grant process. Those grants are very involved. They can get very complicated. We're assisting the City of Clovis with preparing their application, which is going to be for Phase 1 of the Hillcrest Senior Center, the kitchen. So Claire and I, with the assistance of Ruth Ann Kelly and Barbara Riggin, are very deep in the process of getting that application together. We also, we can administer those grants. That requires a separate contract and separate fee structure based on the amount of the grant. We've done several of those for some of our smaller communities lately because those grants are very involved. We can provide assistance in preparing pretty much any grant application to any funding source that you would need to apply to, and technical assistance in project implementation. We also provide assistance with legislative capital outlay requests. In 2020, we prepared 27 requests totaling $4,073,500, and the total amount of those requests that was awarded was $3,281,500. Now, as we all know, some of those requests have been frozen if they were funded through the general fund. So we will see in a couple of weeks what happens with those. The state budget is not in great shape, as we all know, so some of that funding is now in jeopardy. But hopefully, at least some of it will survive. We can also provide fiscal agent services for communities that are not compliant with Executive Order 2013-006. That was an executive order issued in May 2013 by then Governor Susana Martinez that stated that any entity that was not in compliance with the audit rule or with Department of Finance Administration, they receive state funding. So through the New Mexico Association of Regional Councils, we knew that that was going to create a very severe hardship for a lot of communities. So we kind of intervened and lobbied on their behalf to the state, and we created a system where that community could still receive their grant funds through a fiscal agent. And we can provide that service upon request, and that is also a separate agreement. We provide assistance with infrastructure and capital improvement plan development. We prepared the cities last year, and we're going to prepare the cities for them again this year. You'll see that in the attachment to your resolution. That's even more important than ever because now the legislative capital request form pulls information directly from that infrastructure and capital improvement plan. So we need to be very careful how we do those. We can advise and provide other technical assistance to communities as needed. Grant research, preparation of funding applications. We prepared the application for the City of Clovis to submit to the New Mexico Finance Authority for the Metropolitan Redevelopment Act area update. So we can help with those types of things as well. Special projects, I mentioned a few of those that we've done in the past, such as job fairs, the source water protection plan, different projects for different communities. For one of our members, we did a complete inventory audit and update for them. We have helped some of our smaller communities with auctions of surplus property, making sure that was all done properly. So those are the types of things that we can do under special projects. We also continue to participate in state and regional committees and boards. I am the secretary for the Southwest Regional Executive Directors Association. Through that's the 5 states that are funded through EDA through the Austin Regional Office. Ray Mondragon on our staff is the current president of the New Mexico Industrial Development Executive Association. I serve on the New Mexico Association of Regional Councils, and we serve on New Mexico Energy Roadmap Committee and several others. So we stay involved at the state, regional, and national levels so that we can bring those programs and expertise back to our region. The general administration of the COG, our annual budget for fiscal year 2020 was $429,927.32. That does include some income from the sale of rental properties that we haven't yet completed, so we didn't spend $429,000. We did receive an increase in our state grant and aid for this fiscal year, which was a blessing. Our 2019 audit was complete. We have an unmodified opinion with no findings. And with the additional money that we're going to be getting through the CARES Act, we can add some staff. We're going to be hiring a bookkeeper to work with our contract accountant and kind of help keep up the day-to-day stuff. And we're going to hire an additional staff person to assist with grant writing and administration, which will be a big help to not only myself, but to Raymond and Vincent as well. On the last slide, you have our contact information. Raymond Mondragon, of course, is our Economic Development and Government Affairs Planner. Mary Gray, our Executive Assistant, and Vincent Soul, our Transportation Planner. And with that, I'm happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Chansey. Appreciate that very much. Thank you for everything you do at EPCOG. Do we have any questions for her, or perhaps Commissioner Madrid, would you have anything to add? We certainly appreciate your willingness to be our representative there.
I don't have anything to add, but they do work a lot. and they do a good job for our city and our district, so thank you, Chancy. Sandy?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else have comments or questions?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the resolution.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Bryant
Second?
and a second coming from Commissioner Lovett. Commissioners, please vote. All right, we have 7 votes in favor and 1 no vote. The motion carries. The next item under new business is request for approval to appoint 4 citizen members to serve on the Clovis Carver Library Board. Ms. Burrows?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. I'm very pleased to say we've had a great deal of interest in the Clovis Carver Library Board this time around. And we have several folk on the phone this evening. The Library Board terms for Diana Huey, Anita Potov, Anne Schuckman, and Diana Thompson have expired. Anita has decided to not run again. The positions were advertised in the local news media, and you have in your packets the information from the various folk who have applied. And on the phone you have this evening Claudia Cordova, Jennifer Hertig, Alva Mills, Kathy Odom, and Diana Thompson. And then in front of you, you have your voting list of people. So what we'll be looking for this evening are 4 members to serve. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Burrows. So, Commissioners, let's hear from the folks interested in serving on this board that are on the phone. Diana Thompson, if you would like to unmute and share with us about your interest in being on this board.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, City Commission, and City Administration. I would like to continue my position as board member on the Clovis. Can you hear me okay?
We can, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Where was I? Oh, here I am. I would like to continue my position as board member on the Clovis Carver Public Library Board of Directors. The past 8 years, I worked closely with Commissioner Chris Bryant and Library Director Margaret Hinchy on a number of library projects and wish to continue my service to the City of Clovis. I'm very knowledgeable of our library policies, procedures, and financials. My first employment in Clovis, believe it or not, was at the Clovis Carver Library in 1998. I love working there, and this love and commitment will continue through my old age. Since moving to Clovis 30 years ago, I have brought 2 generations of my family to enjoy the library services, my now adult children, and the last several years, my 4 grandchildren. So in closing, I would just like to say that our library is vital to our community and citizens, and I want to continue to be part of it. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. We appreciate that very much. Next, do we have Claudia Cordova on the line? If so, please unmute, and we would give you the floor to share with us about your interest. Ms. Claudia Cordova, if you're on the line, we would like to give you the floor. We'll circle back and double check with her. How about Ms. Kathy Olam? Are you on the line and would you like to share with us? Please unmute and you can have the floor.
Mayor, I wonder if we need to remind him how to unmute?
Yeah, you can use *6 to unmute. Thank you for that reminder. Please press *6 to unmute. And Kathy Olam, if you would like to share with us, you can have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. I grew up in Clovis, and I was involved in the summer reading programs from the 60s on. I have moved back. This is my third time moving back to Clovis, and I'm trying to reintegrate into the community, and I think the library could serve as a focal point for the community because I think reading is so very important to the kids. So I would just like to volunteer my services if they can be of use to the library board and to the city. I have experience. I've retired 3 years ago from the Department of Interior, and I am looking for chances to serve my community because I think it's important to give back. This community has been very good to me, and I'd just like to return that. And I appreciate the opportunity to apply for this position. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Olam. We appreciate you joining us. Ms. Claudia Cordova, if you're on the line, please press *6 to unmute and share with us about your interest.
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your time. My name is Claudia Cordova, and I have lived here in Clovis for 19 years. I am currently employed at Mental Health Resources as an HR director. I'm not sure what my expectations of a board member are, as I've never served on a board. But what I can say is, as a potential board member, I will educate myself to the goals and mission, vision statement of the organization, so that I can be of service to this particular board. I think just ultimately, my ultimate goal or hope is to continue to see the library serve our community. You know, it's such a needed service for some individuals because that is something that they enjoy to do every day, to go in and visit and be able to pick up any media that is available to them so that they can continue on with their daily living activities. But truly all I can say, I just like the opportunity to be able to serve as a board member as part of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much, Ms. Cordova. Next, do we have Ms. Jennifer Herding on the line? You can use *6 to unmute and share with us.
Yes, I am here. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Commission, and City Admin. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come before you guys today. I'm really excited to be considered for this position. Regarding as to why I want to serve on the board, this is very deeply connected to a much more grandiose conversation I've been having with myself lately about what I can do to leave a lasting legacy for my 2-year-old son. And to be honest, that conversation has been really overwhelming given the just enormity of the events that are facing our nation and our children today. However, I was reminded right before I submitted this application by very dear friends that we're not here as communities to raise children to survive the world. Our job is to raise them to change the world. And in my opinion, books do that. They change people, they create promises of a better future and bridge gaps between privilege and disadvantage. And libraries are an opportunity to put not only books, but a plethora of other resources directly into the hands of people. I'm so incredibly thrilled for the opportunity to stand beside those members of our community already doing the hard work of connecting with people through reading. As mentioned in my application, I believe I have a lot to give should I be elected to the board. As a professionally trained social worker, I look for and build on strengths and already present in our community. I work well both as a part of a team and on more independent projects. Practically, thanks to my experience as a contractor with the resilience team at Cannon Air Force Base, I'm pretty skilled in the art of community outreach and program management, and I'm absolutely thrilled at the opportunity to share those with an organization as deserving as our library. So thank you all very much for your consideration today.
Thank you, Ms. Herding. Appreciate that very much. And do we also have Mr. Alva Mills on the line? If so, *6 to unmute, and please share with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners for allowing me the opportunity to come before you tonight. I'll get right to it. Honestly, I'm new to the local community, just over a year, a military member, and I'm interested in becoming more involved in supporting my community and local government, and this was simply one of the first opportunities I saw to dip my toes into that. And I'm afraid I don't have experience with city boards or, library-specific things, except, liking the library growing up as a child. But I just want to offer my services any way I can. But it sounds like, honestly, there are probably more qualified people applying. So, honestly, I just hope you guys consider all of us and pick the most qualified or ideal people, especially knowing that us military members don't always stay around for very long. But like I said, I just if you don't pick me, I will just look for other opportunities to try to serve the local government and community. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Mr. Mills. Thank you for your interest. Okay, from what I'm told, we don't have Diana Huey or Ann Shookman on the phone, or do we? We do. Ann Shookman or Diana Huey, if you're on the line, you would press *6 to unmute. And I don't believe we do have either of them on the line. So at this point, we're going to have our ballots picked up.
Yes.
And for the new commissioners, if you could make sure that you write your name, please, on your ballot.
And you need to select four people from that ballot.
Yes, 4, please.
Please do.
Is everyone done? We'll move on in the agenda, or do we wait? We wait. Okay, we will wait.
While we're waiting, I'll just make a quick comment that I am chairman of the library board, and I appreciate everybody that has applied to this board applying. And if you are not selected, we have many other boards and committees that are available, and I encourage you to apply for another board if you're not selected for this particular one. But thank you for applying.
Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, Claudia Cordova, Kathy Olam, Ann Shookman, and Diana Thompson have been selected to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to all of you for your willingness to serve on that board. We appreciate that very much. The next item under new business is request for approval of appointment of representatives to serve on the Metropolitan Redevelopment Area Steering Committee for the Development Areas 1 and 2. And I'm going to call on you again, Ms. Burrows. Thank you for advising.
Busy evening. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. At your meeting on May the 21st, you approved consensus planning to prepare a plan for the Metropolitan Redevelopment Areas 1 and 2, and you have a copy of that in your packets. Jackie Fishman, who's the principal and spoke with you at that meeting, recommends up to 10 individuals to serve on this steering committee, including representatives who either reside or own a business in one of the redevelopment areas. She provided me late this afternoon, and I put it in front of you this evening, some guidelines, a definition of the steering committee roles. She was saying that there'd be, I think, about 4 or 5 meetings over the next 9 months or so as the plan is put together. And I have contacted you regarding some selections and various commissioners for the redevelopment areas that fall in their districts. We've all been out, as has the mayor, to have a look at these 2 areas, just to have to start to think about what it is that we're about to do. So I'll hand it over to you, Mayor, to start the process if you'd like.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Burrows. Appreciate that very much. Do we have, commissioners, do you have someone that you would like to appoint to this steering committee? No. Commissioner?
I have got a gentleman that I have talked to. I haven't got to meet with him yet, but he's very interested. He's a businessman here, lives in District 2, and has a business in District 3. So I am hoping to get in touch with him this week and see if he would like to serve on that steering committee. He was very interested, and his roots are here, so I think would be a good candidate.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Elliott. Appreciate that.
Mayor, I think you should serve on that committee as well.
I'd be glad to. I will serve on the committee. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner.
I asked Johnny Lopez to serve on that committee, and he's got that business, Lopez and Sons, and he agreed to serve on that committee. So I got him to serve, and we're looking for one more person.
Outstanding.
And I'll get that name from you.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, Commissioner.
What is the date that we need to turn the name in? When do you need the name by?
Really just as soon as you can, so we can start the process. I'm sort of hoping for that tonight, but we don't have to finalize it this evening. We can just start the
Well,
conversation
we've
this
been
evening.
beating the bushes, let me
Yes, I
tell
know.
you. It's been difficult.
So,
But
and we can wait till the next commission
maybe I
meeting to
can have
finalize
some-
it if you like.
Maybe we can have another name by tomorrow.
That'd be great. Thank you, Commissioner.
Mayor.
Yes,
I
Commissioner
have,
Lovett.
Thank you. I have spoken to Brian Carpenter, who has a business in that area with Mark Carpenter Plumbing, and he's willing to serve.
Outstanding. Wonderful. Okay, Commissioners, so that I'm clear, are we taking action on this without all of the names of representatives we would like to appoint, or what should we be working on here with regards to this?
If you're all right, if I make a recommendation, I would just, wait until the next meeting. Let's work on it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, if you would, the staff, Mr. Howalt, myself, our Building Safety Director, will serve in advisory capacity. Lisa Pellegrino-Spear, who's the Clovis Main Street Director, has expressed an interest in serving. If you like, you could place her as a steering committee member or as an advisory member, however you'd like to do that. But we can continue to work on it a little bit more. And then maybe you as commissioners could think who would like for yourselves to serve on that steering committee as well. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you for that, Ms. Burrows. And sounds like we're working on some great representatives to put on that committee. So thank you for making contact with those folks, and look forward to the great work that will come out of this. So we'll pick that up again.
I'll make a motion, we go ahead and table this till next meeting.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we have a motion to table.
Second.
The motion was made by Commissioner Madrid, and the second came from Commissioner Rowley. Commissioners, please vote. Seven in favor and one no vote. The motion to table carries. Next is reports of boards, officers, and committees. Do we have reports? Mr. Howald.
Apologize for the loud mic feedback there, and it sounds like we still have feedback. Certainly will. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, just would like to report that we have been notified this week that the City of Clovis did receive funding through our MAP municipal arterial program through the NMDOT for Thornton Street. And so we'll be looking forward to receiving the agreements from them for that particular project. And then we've also been notified that we received Water Trust Board funding for Phase 2 of the effluent reuse project. That project would extend that project from Bob Spencer Park north to service Berry Elementary, Gaddis Middle School, and then over to Colonial Park. It is actually the last designed portion of the reuse project. So once we get to that constructed, other than a couple of minor laterals that we haven't been able to build over the last several years, that project would be complete as it was originally designed. That's around $4.3 million that we received in award funds with those, which includes our match component to that. So very good news for us when it comes to funding through various grants that we had applied for this last week. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding those.
Thank you for that, Mr. Howald. Do we have any questions?
No questions, Mr. Howald. That's very exciting news. I've been working on that particular project for 12 years, so I'm glad to see it coming to a close. Thank you.
Certainly, thank you.
Great.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Levitt.
Mr. Howald, so when would the construction start, and when do you think it might be completed?
For the reuse project, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're still working, we have to submit readiness to proceed items to the New Mexico Finance Authority by September the 30th, and then they will get to us the closing documents and the contracts. So we probably won't start construction for another 6 months to a year, simply because we have to tidy up some plans, get those put together, get through the bidding process, the closure of the grants, et cetera. So
Okay.
I know that we definitely need to get water to the Colonial Park Golf Course. It's something that we've been struggling with for several years. Simply our wells don't produce enough water to adequately water the golf course. So getting supply up there is definitely a need for that particular asset the City of Clovis has.
Thank you.
Also, Mr. Howald, when do you perceive that the Thornton Street project will be under construction?
I'm going to hesitate on that one as well. So we still have to get the grant agreements in place for that one as well, which will be over the next several months.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Howald. Do we have any other reports of boards, officers, and committees? Hearing none, Commissioners, what future agenda items would you like to bring forward tonight?
Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Madrid.
you know, I'd like to see the affordable housing back on the agenda. See if we can start on that affordable housing. So,
Okay.
Thank
yeah.
you, Mayor, Commissioner. We're certainly happy to get on there. We need to pull it back out, dust it off, see where we were, so it will get it on in the future, but I'm not going to guarantee next commission meeting, if that's okay, sir.
okay. You can wait till August.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up, Commissioner Madrid. Look forward to taking a look at that. Thank you. Any other future agenda items? Ms. Burrows?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. The airport engineering services will be on the next agenda. The bond ordinance for those 2010, 2011 bonds will be coming to you for final action at the next meeting. Clovis Main Street, that agreement you did in December is due again. We did it for 6 months, so that'll be coming to you at the next meeting. And then Capital Consultants, we're working with John Ryan on his contract. So that's all I have at the moment. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Mayor?
Yes,
Just
Commissioner
a
Render.
question for Ms. Burrows. Excuse me, the bond issue, he's going to have a recommendation for a specific bond, right? There, as I'm recalling, he will have it. Thank you. That's good.
Before we move away from future agenda items, anything else? All right. Announcement of date, time, and place of board and commission meetings. We have Water Policy Advisory Committee at 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday, June 9th, and that will be held here in the North Annex. We also have upcoming a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and that's at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, June 10th, also here in the North Annex. We're holding those committee meetings here in this room because there's enough space to manage 6-foot distancing. Also, coming up in the future, we have our next City Commission meeting, and it's at 5:15 on Thursday, June 18th. And with that, Commissioners, we are adjourned.
That's my birthday.